Welcome back, family, to From Soldier to Civilian in 8 Days, Part 4. So I have 5 days left in the United States Army. And I did a previous recording earlier today and I kind of rushed it. And I rushed it for good reasons. I wanted to head out and go see another buddy of mine, but for the sake of wanting to do things with quality in mind, I've decided to take a little more time and go back and do these. Now, this specific episode is going to be broken up into four different parts, and they all coincide during my time in California. But before we get to that, I wanted to go back a step and highlight something, and that is my certificate from playing the drums in the choir while in Iraq. As you can see, it was the Spirit of the Rock Gospel Service. And it reads as follows: for selflessly superior support to the members of the Task Force Marine Spirit of the Rock Gospel Service. Thank you for volunteering faithfully as lead drummer for the Spirit of the Rock Gospel Choir. Your musical contributions, faithfulness, and wise counsel have significantly blessed service members, contractors, and third country nationals alike. May God richly bless you, your wife, and your daughter in future endeavors, and may He continue to prosper you as you complete His perfect will. Your service reflects great credit upon you, Task Force Marne, and the United States Army. We appreciate and love you dearly. We will miss you immensely. Cobb Spiker, Iraq, Task Force Marne, USDN. This was signed by Lieutenant Colonel Shatrice W.B. Buchanan, Executive Church Steward. Top of the rock. And so I didn't want to. And the members of the choir signed it on the back. And if you see those little scribbles, that's because I think, well, one of my girls decided to add their signature later on in life. So we're picking it back up today as I entered into California in 2014 to be a part of the 351st Civil Affairs Command, and I was the G4 Senior Supply Sergeant. And during that time, I worked with several different sergeants major. I don't know why I can't say that properly right now. Anyway, Sergeant Major Flukiger, Sergeant Major Torres, Sergeant Major Corey Nahara. And on my way out, I worked with another Sergeant Major, but that's another story for another time. And so I wanna hop into it, and I have a lot of pictures to get through, so this may go a little fast. And again, I'm trying to do this to preserve time, and I'm splitting this up in four different sections. So, as stated before, this was USA K-pop, and they tell you what, that that actual unit tested greatly, immensely my will, uh, my professionalism, my patience, and any other area or place that I could have been tested. They did it. They did it. And oftentimes, I'm not going to say that it was like a thing of not being able to soldier forward because I absolutely did. Again, I had just come from being a platoon sergeant several times over. I had to do a lot at my previous unit at the unit level. But when I tell you they made me come to work looking like this, look, every single day I felt, well, not every single day, but some days felt just like this. I just couldn't that day. And I didn't want to adult. There was a lot going on in my life at that time. And things were not, things just weren't fun. A lot of the times. But fortunately, as you all will see throughout this small series, um, a lot of things ended up shaping up the way they were supposed to. So to the first sergeant major that I worked for, Command Sergeant Major retired Mark Flukiger. And in this picture is him and Matt Bowman. These two gentlemen are literally the salt of the earth type of men. Uh, to have been mentored and taught and coached from these two gentlemen is amazing. They are some of the best people I have ever met in my life, and I miss them immensely. I miss working with them, as well as you, Don Sweetman, who was also a part of that team. And we did a lot for that command in the G4. Now I would be crazy if I did not. So this is actually a picture of Sergeant Major Flukiger leaving, Sergeant Major Flukiger leaving, and it was his time to go. He was going to Germany, and he had taken a position over there. So he was in a hotel, and Matt and I decided to try and meet up with him to give him a departing gift, and that's what we ended up doing. We absolutely appreciated his leadership, his skill, and his wise counsel. Love his family, by the way. They're all doing well. Speaking of families that I love, so in this picture, this great officer is Samantha Bowman, Matt Bowman's wife. And these are two of the most wonderful, spectacular people I have ever met. This was at her promotion party that I was able to attend while in um, Mountain View, California. And during this ceremony, had the opportunity again to simply watch as a great officer was promoted. And when you see good people get promoted in the military, it's something that it does something for you. It gives you a bit more motivation and courage that okay, maybe the things that have gone bad in the army will be fixed because this specific person is taking this specific position. And that's what you want to see oftentimes that happen. There's a lot of bad leadership in the army. I don't want anybody to be misconstrued. However, when you come across leaders who give a damn, leaders who care, leaders who are willing to dig in with their soldiers and not just physically, but mentally and spiritually, just get in and dig in with their soldiers to get through with the soldier forward. And you see them get promoted, you are able to sit back and breathe a little easier. And so this was one of the times that I was able to witness great things in the Army happen with captain at the time, Samantha Bowman, get promoted to Major Bowman, and she is now Lieutenant Colonel Bowman. So again, sometimes the Army is able to get it right. And this was one of those times. This is always going to be one of those times. I love this picture right here. And I had to put these side by side because I couldn't find the picture where Sam was holding Bubby standing next to Matt. But this picture right here, with Captain Mendez, Major Mendez holding Bubby when he was a baby. I loved that picture. It was just something that I've cherished in my mind for years. I've often thought about this in his face, and just hilarious times. Pushing forward. So again, there are people in the Army who you absolutely love working with, as odd as it might seem, but working with two of these fine officers and the civilian in the picture, Mr. England and Colonel Orbach, and at the time Lieutenant Colonel Foster. This was when Mr. England was on his way out, in one of these pictures. And then in another picture, you see uh, Sergeant Major retired Daniel Bowen. And if you look in the background again, you'll see Sam, and you'll see Matt, and you'll see my sister, Jimerson, and you'll see Bob Camp. And just, this is what makes the Army great, right? Again, it's not the name of the organization sometimes. Sometimes it's the people that are serving inside of the name. This is me sitting at my office. And it's the people that you serve with that make the organization great. This was one of my best photo bombs ever. I'm clapping it up for me. Everybody that worked in the G3 office, Mass Sergeant retired, Darnell Thomas, Sergeant Fan, Sergeant Best, who's now Mass Sergeant Best, I believe, and soon to be retired, Mass Sergeant Camp. In this picture, he was Sergeant First Class Camp, and at the time, Captain Nunez. And if you look in the back, that great soldier with his arms stretched out, yeah, that's me. Sergeant Famous, I hope you're doing well, man. I really do. I haven't spoken to you or heard from you or heard about you in a while, and I generally hear about everybody sooner or later. Great G3 team and G2 for camp's purposes. What we did in this command, people, a lot of people wouldn't appreciate it unless they worked in all levels of the Army. And you go up to a general staff office, and then you end up going back down to a lower level or a lower echelon of working, and you have an understanding of how things worked. And my goodness, is that sight picture different. Again, it's always the soldiers you are standing next to on your left and right that you begin to appreciate. One of the things that I loved about working with Sergeant Major Flukiger and Sergeant Major Torres is their drive to educate soldiers at the lowest level. And so what we set out to do is we began to have a lot of different conferences, G4 conferences. These two high-speed soldiers right here. So our first class, Demetrius Anderson, retired, as well as at the time, Major Samari Davis, who is now Lieutenant Colonel Davis, and he should be on his way out also. Two of the brightest gentlemen I have ever had the privilege of listening to and watching engage with their soldiers. When we set out to do a lot of different things in the Army, there goes Lewis Otten and Joyner. There goes Rita, Son Brand, yeah, or Chief Brand, as you were, Chief Brand. We set out to make sure that we were able to educate as many soldiers that we had at our lowest level as much as possible, with an understanding that, yeah, sometimes it's going to be confusing. Sometimes it's going to be annoying. Shout out to Don Sweetman again. You don't see yourself in that picture, Don? I know you do. I know you do. And while you're trying to educate soldiers, Sergeant Major Torres is standing in the background there. You're also learning a lot about yourself, about leadership, about how to push through, about making sure soldiers understand information. There's a lot that goes into this. And of course, none of that could be done without having some downtime, right? My man Tessin over there. These were great times. These are great times. And these are times that I don't want to have back. This was time well spent. This was watching the force shift, change, and maneuver. We were going from PBOOS to GCSS Army. And this was, I think, my third conversion in the United States Army in systems of property accountability. I went through SPBSR, right? The SPBSR stuff. I went through with the OLS-4 stuff, and then PBOOS, and then GCSS Army. And now the system's going to change again. If you are going to serve, and while serving, and if you have to serve, you have to make sure that you stay fluid. Hey, Ray. Hey, Acosta. Yeah, we see y'all. You've got to stay fluid because nothing stays the same in the Army except for change. And that's it. Everybody's last unit was one of two things, either the best unit ever or the worst unit they had ever been in. And again, fortunately for me, I was able to serve with some of the best officers the United States Army has ever produced in the history of the organization. This is Colonel retired Jim Orbach, who, when it comes to being a DCO, the wisdom that this man had and shared, uh, the time and dedication he took out to make sure he was able to properly answer a question and make sure we weren't just leaving soldiers up in the air without answers. He made sure that as a command team, we fulfilled those roles that we owed everybody in our down trace. And we had a lot of down trace. If I counted once or twice before, and I think that was, I think I came up with 56, what is called UICs, unit identification codes. And he made sure that every jot and tittle was taken care of. There you'll see Jen Ranowski as well. And if you see in this other picture, you will see another Sergeant Major that I mentioned, Sergeant Major Corey Nahara, and Major Painter. He was the Deputy G4 and the G4 Sergeant Major 351 KCOM that I had the great time and task of working for and under. All right. There's a lot of great soldiers I was able to serve with and accomplish many missions. And we also had good times. There are some things that happened in our unit that really brought us together and made us and helped us actually appreciate each other, not just as soldiers, as professionals, but as family members, like I've stated before. And so the ability to want to hang out with the majority of the soldiers that I worked with spoke and speaks highly of who they are as people. We did some great training, of course, ranges, which was an oddity for us because we didn't often go to a firing range. But when we did, we had a great time. We did 9 mil steel, and there was also heat rollover training, egress training, as it were. So in that picture, in the picture to the right, upper right hand corner where it has the number 9, you will see Sergeant Emily Frosto. And one of the rare moments that Matt was in uniform, one of the very rare moments. Yep, Matt, that's you, my man. That is you. Another, just when I say the Army has produced some of the greatest leaders that this country has ever known without actually knowing their names, I am absolutely serious. So the second Sergeant Major that I was able to work under was Sergeant Major retired Alice Torres. And I was really, really hoping that she would have taken a command sergeant's major position somewhere so that I could have found out where she was going so that I could have worked under her again. The epitome of a logistician, the institutional knowledge that Sergeant Major understood, had, and shared is what got me through a lot of different positions. She was a very pivotal leader and very tough and demanding, but also absolutely fair. And I appreciated working under her. In this picture, what you see right here is we were participating in the biggest war game in the world called RIMPAC, Rim of Pacific, and she had given me the trust, confidence, and ability to spearhead this actual mission as the senior logistician. She trusted me with that, and that says a lot about the faith that she had in me. And we worked with the Air Force to get some things moved from Mountain View, California down to San Diego, where we ended up porting out. But I always appreciated that. Always appreciated her mentorship and her guidance. And it's just an amazing thing. Yep. I had to put this up, Clarence, Mr. Watson, my brother. Look, RIMPAC, or the story of 351 KCOM G4 could not be told in its entirety without showing these pictures of the loadout going to RIMPAC. Oh my goodness. Sean Watson is one of the finest NCOs you could ever wish to serve with. Very steadfast, former Marine, and brings the utmost of professional uh, tenacity to the craft of soldiering. And the soldier with him, I'm not going to say his name, but when I say that soldier tested our mettle in leadership and patience, and ensuring we did right by him and making sure that he was squared away, I mean, he taught me a lot. That soldier taught me a lot about soldiering. It taught me a lot. This was our loadout. I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. There's something the Army that will teach you how to do, and that's a PowerPoint. Now, I could have done a whole storyboard with the amount of pictures that I have. This is all of our lead out and load out to get to RIMPAC. And in this wonderful picture, the picture in the middle, you'll see another absolutely fantastic, I'm sure he's retired by now, officer. At the time in this picture is Julius Boyd, and he was the G4. Great leader, just with the amount of wisdom as the day is long, he executed things, and he came to the KCOM with a very short amount of information, and he shared it, and he made sure that we executed the mission, and we held tight and firm to our promises that were put out to the field heading into RIMPAC. This was our first time executing this mission, and because of his leadership, we executed it well. This is a very special scene for me, and for those of you all who know, you know, I'd like to say rest in peace, Land the Man Dotson. Another fine St. Louis brother that we lost along the way, unfortunately. Look, these pictures were tough to get through and compile and put together. And I felt I've had to take a pause. I did a whole hour recording before this and just going through stuff. These pictures were taken in South Korea. Going through this, I lost. I don't think I've cried so much in a short amount of time looking through all of these pictures as I have, and realizing and coming to a point of understanding that this is it for me. And these experiences and moments that were captured in time, unfortunately, digitally as well, they will be a part of me forever, as well as my story. This particular scene happened in South Carolina. South Carolina. Jesus, I'm thinking about you, Jimmy. South Korea. It was a mission trip that we took over to South Korea to get some things taken care of, and we had the time to hang out and view a few things and see some great stuff. Yeah, there's Land hanging out, being silly. We were in the airport coming back to the States, and man, I miss that guy. Shout out to Cheryl. Miss you too. And the biggest and hardest part about the Army is sometimes picking up the pieces from the things that you've sacrificed and lost along the way. But I'll get into that in another slide deck. So the third sergeant major that I was able to work for while at 351 KCOM was Sergeant Major retired Corey, and he'll tell you Najera, but clearly it's Nahara. The art of networking, if ever there was a person who knew it, it was him. He embodied the mobility of an NCO that knows how to network, influence, and talk to people and get things done. Strategic thinker in all of its perfect forms. And I spoke with Sergeant Major not too long ago because I do my best to check in on people. And he's doing well, fortunately, but this was the day that he departed also. And fortunately, him and I live close enough to where I can reach out, talk to him, go see him fairly frequently. In the other picture, you see the G14, my replacement, April Brownbacher, my soldier, Sergeant Bernardo, and of course, Mr. Painter, in that picture. That was 351 KCOM G4. At one point, I was the longest tenured soldier at the KCOM. I stopped counting how many people I saw PCS or leave after I hit 100, because I was able to memorize the names, memorize the positions, where they worked, how long they were there, what they did, if they were effective, if they were influential, or if they were just some of the soldiers that were in the way. And I counted up to 100 and I stopped memorizing it because it began to become depressing because I wanted to leave, but I began to go through some things in 2018 that didn't allow me to leave as soon as I could. And what I can say about this is that during that time of strife, Sergeant Major Nahara never once dogged me out. As a true leader, he assisted me through it. This part I'm not ashamed to say. Sergeant Major came and picked me up from jail once I bonded myself out. Didn't beat me up, didn't bop me over the head. No, he made sure that I was okay. He made sure that I was in the correct headspace and time. And hell, I was actually homeless for a bit. He found somewhere for me to stay. And I'm not saying that you don't have those soldiers out there that are willing to take care of people in the same fashion now. What I am able to say is, again, I was fortunate enough to have somebody there for me, a leader who understood what leadership meant, and he executed on it. We with the assistance and guidance of the then HHC commander and first sergeant, at the time, Major Jess Langerud, and Sergeant Major retired at the time she was first sergeant, SB Tucker. We did a dining in, and if you look at this picture closely, you'll see Sergeant Major Flukiger and his wonderful, lovely wife Adrian again. And I asked him to be our guest speaker. I coordinated the effort, and thank you, Scottish Rite and San Jose, for allowing us to use that just beautiful facility. Greg, thank you for that. I appreciate you helping us out on that. And this is a very powerful picture for those who know, right? You've got multiple sergeants major, command sergeants major. You've got the one star, the Brigadier General Isaac Johnson, and other officers that were absolutely amazing people. I enjoyed my time at this dining in, I think it was. Here is a picture of my battle on the right-hand side. Leroy Early, who we found out, we knew multiple people outside of the uniform. As well. Rest in peace, Max. I miss you, sis. But yeah, that's Leroy Early. He was our G6. And I'm happy that brother got out of there. He was dealing with a lot. Listen, not every unit in the Army, not every soldier in the Army. Sometimes it's oil and water, and those two things shouldn't be together. Use of KPOC is a tough command. And it's because a lot of times the civil affairs soldier doesn't understand what their actual function is, and they begin to think that they're bigger than what they are. But at the end of the day, as soldiers, our job is to assist combatant commanders in winning wars, and not to try and become or stay or focus on being something you're not, which is a special forces unit. Y'all ain't that. The thing that I used to get sick of hearing them say is when they called MOSs who were not, or job skills, for those of you all who don't know what an MOS is, who were not a civil affairs soldier, low density, it made me laugh. And the reason why it made me laugh is because in the grand scheme of the Army, the civil affairs soldier was actually the low density soldier, especially when it comes to being force multipliers. Anyway, I could go into that, but I won't. That's another story for another time. Focusing on the good part, This was the first dining in that the command had in decades, and we were able to plan it and pull it off perfectly, perfectly, and we all had a great time. Again, this was spearheaded by Major Jess Langerud, which I thought I had pictures of you in here, and I can't seem to find them. What I do want to say, however, is as an HAC commander, it was between you and at the time Major Fishkin. I had Major Fishkin as well as Captain Mendez. I can't leave you out either. Major Rivenbark, who's now Colonel Rivenbark. Like the 351 KCOM had solid HAC commanders throughout my tenure there. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. None. And I just mentioned pretty much all of them, oddly enough, while I was there. And I appreciate the support that was given during the times that I was going through issues, and the commander, the HAC commander in First On, having the understanding and the knowledge of who I am as a person, and not buying into a lot of BS that was thrown out there about me. Sergeant Major Nahara, at the time Major Craig Painter, First On SB Tucker, retired Command Sergeant Major Tucker, Major Jesse Langerud. I'm glad I went through those situations with you all at the helm. I really am. Now we're getting to some of the times where we were starting to depart the actual AO. And what you see here is during my tenure at 351 KCOM, I had the experience of being able to speak at a Black Lives Rally matter and share that experience with my sister Candace Smith, Smitty, retired Sergeant First Class Smith, right? And I appreciate that moment so much. It was such a powerful moment, as well as now Sergeant Major. Well, I, I, I don't. Well, she was a mask on at the time, and yeah, I think she's completing Sergeant's Major Academy, if memory serves me right. She sent me pictures. Hell, actually, I'm going to ask her. That's what I'm going to do. She's currently Sergeant Major Kelly, Latanya Kelly. And we went out, started doing karaoke together, and just had a blast. Had an absolute blast. And the other pictures that I'm going to be showing, it's just us departing from the KCOM. Some of the great soldiers that I had the opportunity of coming in contact with, we still have a group chat and we talk now. And I don't have any pictures of retired CW4 David Fox, but shout out to you as well, Chief. So this is just us being us and appreciating what it is to be professionals and to be friends and to be family. Shared some of my best moments with these fine people. I've been able to rely on them, to confide in them, and get assistance and gain assistance and knowledge and wisdom and understanding from them. That's immeasurable. This was the funniest vehicle ever, and it was driven by none other than Awesome Bob. If you know, you know. So these were great times throughout my career. Some of the best people I've been able to be with and still maintain contact with. My brother Deepak, in that picture, you slipped in there on me. I mean, I didn't mean to put that in there, but you good. DL Thomas, Master Sergeant retired Darnell Thomas. What a guy. Jimmy Morello, April Brombacher. April's a good friend. Her communication sucks though. Just wanted to throw that out there. But I also want to say congratulations to you, April. You and your fiance. I am looking forward to coming to your wedding soon. It's going to be a blast. While at the 351K Com Civil Affairs Command, I got to meet my heroes as well. And fortunately, I was not disappointed. I was not. And so going to California, I was in California from 2014 to 2023. So yeah, I was in two units. The first unit is 351 Civil Affairs Command, 351K Com. The other unit, which is what I'll be talking about tomorrow, was 3356 LSB. And this was me departing, leaving that duty station. Boxes packed up, Crown Royal bag being used as packing. Oh man. And so that was my career with the 351st Civil Affairs Command as the G4 Senior Supply Sergeant. But that's not all. That's not all. Again, this episode has 4 different parts to it, and that's just one of them. And so again, going from here's some pictures that I wanted to share with y'all also. Not this, but that guy. Y'all have seen this one, but I didn't get to show you this guy. Colonel Foster. Then turning into that guy. Hanging out with my battles. Some moments in life you can never buy. You can never purchase. And even when you want to get them back, this was when Master Thomas retired. This was when right before he left. You can't buy this story. Nobody can write this out. This was part of my life. This picture right here, oh my goodness. The stories I have about that photo, I'll tell y'all another time. But for now, that was my journey, a very short moment in time with the 351st Civil Affairs Command. Again, I want to send a shout out to the Bowmans, to the G4 Sergeant Major that I was able to serve with. Sergeant Major Flukiger, Sergeant Major Torres, Sergeant Major Najera, my deputy G4, Colonel Painter, Mr. Julius Boyd, Don Sweetman, Sergeant Costa, Sergeant Bernardo, all the supply sergeants. Hey, Flo, you too, bro. I ain't leave you out either, my man. Very special time in my life. Very pivotal time in my life. Very pivotal time in my career. I almost ended my career during this time, but I didn't for a specific reason. And to know that reason, you will have to stay tuned in for the next segment coming out shortly. So stick with me and continue the journey with me from soldier to civilian in 8 days with 5 days left. I'll see y'all